Hey everybody, how you doing? IntoWeapons back again with you. Got another WASR upgrade video for you today. This is video number 8 in the series that I'm doing, changing it from its original configuration into a home defense type rifle. If you're interested in checking out some of the previous upgrades that I've already done to this rifle, there are going to be links in the description of this video down below that you can go down there and jump to whatever one that you're interested in. Otherwise, today what we're going to be focusing on is the optics for this particular rifle. As many of you know, one of my previous upgrades was the Midwest Industries optic specific top cover. This was intentionally designed for the Burris FastFire 2. I was debating whether I wanted to get the FastFire 2 or the FastFire 3, and due to knowing that this one will work according to the website, obviously, and the price for the FastFire 2 is just more in my range. So, but I do believe the Burris FastFire 3 will work with this top cover as well. At least that's what I've read. So. The reasoning I purchased this particular one is that it will allow me a co-witness, a lower third co-witness for my iron sights, which is real helpful if any of you are familiar with allowing your iron sights to coincide with your red dot. Having that ability is really a nice feature. So what we're going to do is we're going to bust open this box here, and I did get this from overstock.com. It ran me a total of $162. And it does include the Picatinny Weaver rail mount, which we won't need for this installation, but I figured if I ever wanted to take it off this rifle and put it on something else, having that Weaver mount would be, or the Picatinny mount would be a valuable addition to have to it. So you can get this a little bit cheaper if you do not buy the mount with it. It does have a 4 MOA dot as far as I remember. I don't really know a whole lot of the specifics on it, but it did come in this box. The box was sealed, so I know it wasn't opened or messed around with. So if yours doesn't come sealed, that might be something you want to be concerned with. It does have an owner's manual here, which is going to be kind of important considering the fact that there's kind of a weird disc here that operates the elevation and windage adjustments, as far as I initially understand without reading it a whole lot. I just kind of breezed through it. Comes with the 1-year warranty, a little wipe for the lens, and then the little kit itself, which is sealed as well into this kind of a plastic foam padding case here. So we'll go ahead and get this open here and see what it comes with. And it looks like inside we have kind of a screwdriver, which I believe is used for adjusting things, the windage and elevation. It comes with, looks like a cover, a mounting cover or plate, I should say. And I think that is for when you use the Picatinny mount. Here is the actual plastic cover for the lens and the unit itself, which is nice to be able to protect it. Looks like we also have the actual Picatinny mount. That's nice. We have the little optic here, and as you can see, this thing is tiny, which is one of the reasons I bought it as well. I wanted something that was going to be very lightweight, and I don't think you can get much lighter than that for a red dot sight. So very small, very well built. It is waterproof. And then we also have a battery, and I think this is a CR2032 battery. And if I remember correctly, if I was reading, it's about a 15-year life that you get out of this on this red dot, because it uses such minimal power. At least that's what I understand. I could be wrong on that. It also has in here, it looks like a hex wrench. We have the adjusting dial here for the windage and elevation, which I guess I'll have to read into a little bit. Seems like it's a little bit more complicated than what it really needs to be. And then I have some screws here. Must be mounting screws as well. There's 3 of them there. I'm not going to take those out of there until we're ready to install this. And that's what comes in the package. So I'll do a little bit reading up on here. We'll do the install, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so the installation is pretty straightforward from what I see here. You have the sight itself, and it does come with the CR2032 battery, which you would just place in the bottom here. It does have a magnet that kind of holds it in place there a little bit for you. Then you have this little rubber gasket, which you'll actually want to put on top of the Burris FastFire mount here. Make sure I'm getting that in the camera. And as you can see, it actually has 4 tabs that it lines up perfectly with, as well as the 2 screw holes that are going to be holding everything together. Then you do have the Burris FastFire plate that needs to go on next. Again, just kind of following the same thing, making sure all the holes line up like that. And then we'll go ahead and drop our Burris FastFire on top of that. At that point then, again, just making sure that your holes line up, making sure you have it in the right position. That should do it right there. Thereabout. And at that point then, we can go ahead and see if we can get the screws in here, which they provide. We'll do one here. It does look like they give you 3 screws instead of just the needed 2 in case you maybe drop one or lose one, which is a nice thing to have. We'll use the provided hex wrench here. We'll go ahead and tighten that down. And the instructions said not to over tighten, just to hand tighten, which makes sense. You don't want to put a whole lot of undue pressure on these optics. And then I'm just going to kind of make sure everything looks like it's lining up correctly, and we'll crank it down a little bit more. There's that. And that's about finger tightened. So there we have it. That's the installation part of the video. As you can see, that is extremely small. And I can give you a look down the sights there. Hopefully you can kind of see that. And I'll flip it on here. See if we have a red dot down the sight. And I do see a red dot, but it looks like it's going to have to be adjusted. So I don't think you're going to be able to see the red dot in there at this point at least. But that is the installation. And I'll go ahead and read a little bit more on the instructions on how to adjust, and we'll be right back. Okay, so after reading the instructions a little bit on how to adjust, what it actually comes down to is there are 2 set screws in the back here of the unit which you need to turn counterclockwise a half turn each in order to loosen the mechanism to allow the windage up and left and right elevation and windage adjustments to be actually adjusted. Once you have them adjusted, then you lock these 2 set screws in the back down. You are able to do that without using this little dial here. What I believe this dial is for is measuring the distinct changes that you make, and I really probably won't get into using this a whole lot because it's going to be used more for close quarter combat for me, but if you're going to be doing a longer distance shooting, I suppose this would become more helpful, as I noticed that as far as I understand, these do not have like clickable adjustments where you hear it or feel an audible click there for each adjustment that you make, where that's kind of what the purpose is of this. So what I'm going to do is actually sight this in again, just kind of loosening these 2 back screws up, which will allow me to actually adjust the windage and left and right and up and down, and we'll lock those back together, and we'll come back and see if we can get a sight picture for you guys. Okay, so we got everything adjusted and sighted in as far as I can get it right now without taking it to the range, obviously, but it seems like it adjusts fairly easily. It does have a lot of adjustment left and right. I do notice that you have to make sure that your sight is precisely on-centered, exactly how it needs to be, otherwise you might not be able to adjust it far enough left or far enough right for it to be where you need it. The only other issue that I see is that it seems like the body of this red dot here comes a little bit high, so I'm not able to actually see the front post when I'm using my iron dot sight picture as well as I would like. Obviously I have that tritium meprolite night sight in here with that front dot in there, and that's not very visible over or through the Burris FastFire here. So that's a little bit of a downer, but overall the co-witness works pretty well. If I can't get an image of it here for you guys on video, I'll try to take a still on my camera and post that into this video as well. But overall it seems like it works pretty well. I'll see if I can get something up there for you guys to see, although I'm sure it's probably not going to show up here. So but as you can see there, kind of the sight picture that you would normally have. And I can't tell if that red dot's coming through or not. So overall pretty happy with it, guys. I think I would definitely go back and do it again. I don't think there's any other options that I would prefer over this at this point, so it's just a matter of getting out to the range and testing it out, make sure it holds up on this rifle, and we'll go from there. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, as always, I appreciate watching, and until next time, take it easy.